Every film needs a confident leader, and if you lack confidence, this is the first thing that's going to throw your entire project off. So I've sort of created a rule book on how to successfully accomplish directing a film with 5 steps. What happens in this scene? She walks, she hits glass with her foot, she crouches down, sees that there's a piece here, but there's more over here.
She walks in the scene, she notices it, and then she dips down out of frame. Okay, I'm good with that.
Cool.
We're gonna need some time to set glass anyways, right?
Yep. The first one is to know the block, light, shoot rule, BLS, as I call it. So block, light, shoot is a tool that you can pull out before you shoot one scene and enter another. So let's go to step 1, which is blocking. Blocking a scene is basically finding where your actors stand in proportion to the scene. Do they start in a hallway and walk their way to a window? Are they staying seated the entire time? What happens when they stand? And getting your actors to play through the scene is just like getting an actor on a stage to figure out where they stand in conjunction to the stage and the audience. And knowing your actors' blocking is the first step for every other department to know what to dress and how to light it, which is the second step, lighting. After your actor has sort of figured out where they're going to go within the scene, it's time to figure out how the camera lives in conjunction with that and how the lighting works. So your cinematographer, or if you're filming it yourself, light the scene in comparison to where the actor is standing. So with this scene in Jackie, she starts seated in her chair playing chess, and then she stands up when the power goes off in the house and walks out of frame. So with this, we knew we were gonna light it naturally by a window that she was standing by, and we had a few shots to work around that. A close-up of her hand, a wide shot of the room, and a medium shot of her at the table. But since she wasn't moving a whole lot, the blocking of this was relatively simple. Great. Cut. I really like that. Felt really nice. I think the only line that's still feeling weird is that it is. I maybe just laugh at that.
So are we cutting? Or?
Yeah, cut.
And camera rolling. Got it. Sure.
Jackie, just so I have it for the edit, when you stand up, you gotta look around a second. Something to continually remind yourself when you make a movie is that you are the editor on set. So for this scene that we shot with Jackie playing chess, what we wanted to make sure is that this shot of her would cut well with this one. Being an editor on set is also gonna save time. It's also gonna be able to allow you to speak the cinematic language that everyone requires to know how a scene is going to be filmed.
Knight C6.
You made a mistake on purpose.
That's what people do.
It's the opposite. You ever hear of pride?
Fine. Rook D4. It's totally flawsome.
People don't say that either.
So Nick, I think we enter the scene pushing in and exit it pulling up.
Sure.
And so when you're filming, you're pasting together the film, editing on set, knowing what you need, and more importantly, knowing what you don't need. You're gonna be a lot more of an efficient filmmaker if you can understand where this is gonna piece together in the edit. And one of the biggest areas of losing confidence on set is not knowing how this is going to piece within the film. So check playback, watch videos, and stare at that monitor. And don't watch the monitor for the moment that's currently happening. Think about how it's going to incorporate in the film once it's done, and you're actually watching it as if it's happening in the movie theater. Okay, so the next thing that was huge value to when we made our short film Clementine was actually making a cinematic language, sort of a dialogue that we could use to express how the movie was going to come. So this can come as like a treatment or a pitch deck where you find imagery that you like. So we created a Google Doc that had the images, but I took it a step further with this film. Before we got into actual production, I actually shot the entire version of our movie just with Jackie and my camera, and then put bed music to it in the background, so when people watch this, they could get an idea of how the film was going to piece together. Myself and the writer Neil Schneider created playlists to reference as we were writing and as we were shooting, so that we had a clearer vision of how the movie was going to be done when it was being edited. A lot of the time when you're piecing together a film, most stuff is kind of half done, but fortunately with playlists that are created, you have the final product already there to sort of act as reference. Which leads me into the sponsor of this video, which is MusicBed. MusicBed is one of the best music platforms on the internet, the curated library of over thousands of songs from thousands of artists. One of my favorite features on MusicBed is how easy it is to create a playlist. This is how we designed ours for Clementine. You just slide over to the side, you have genre, mood, artist, and if I want to get really specific, I'm just gonna go cinematic, ambient. Let's go for something in the attributes, which is very specific. I want dark, and let's go into Tin Man. I already love this song, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in, add to project, and put into my Clementine playlist, which I'll have a link to in the description below. But creating playlists is one of my favorite things part of this, and if I'm not feeling like original with looking for different playlists and songs, I can actually go into my favorite filmmakers on MusicBed, scroll through and find people who I really admire and steal music from their playlists. Oh look, Mark Bone. And I'll go through his playlists and find songs that I really dig, but maybe the song doesn't feel exactly what I'm looking for. I'll click onto the artist and find other songs that they've created that sort of match my vibe, and then I'll create my own playlist made from that and download them and put them into my movie. If you've liked the songs playing throughout this video and want to hear the difference for yourself, you can sign up for a free account. And if you use the promo code Ramelan at checkout, you can get 1 free month, part of your annual subscription. I honestly cannot recommend this part of your creative process enough. We use this heavily for our film, and if you want to elevate your music and take things to the next level, MusicBed, I would say, is the best platform for the highest quality cinematic music on the internet.
No! You're killing me, dude! I was lucky. Try harder next time. Okay, coming!
I gotta go to school. Some of us can't sit around all day.
I'm lying down, not sitting. And besides, it's not like it's been sunshine and rainbows around here. My parents are mental.
Don't say that. Everyone's like ripping their heads off. It's mental. Have you even been outside?
One of the biggest things every director needs to have is vision. But more specifically, a dialed in vision is having some sort of ideas how things are going to be executed. And of course, a creative style, visual language, and knowing your terminology is one thing, but actually going in with sort of full ammunition is the best way to execute a film at its top level. And the number one way to do that is to have a shot list or storyboard available. Now, storyboards are kind of known as doing like kind of chicken scratch drawings, which I use sometimes, but I find they take a long time to develop. So I've always kind of gone into doing storyboards for scenes that I just have a hard time visualizing, and more importantly, having a detailed shot list for when I go onto set. Now, my shot lists are actually different than maybe traditional ones are done. What I have on one column is sort of the shot and action that happens within the scene. In another column, I have the page number, so where is this happening in conjunction to the script. And my other two columns, one is camera blocking, so what's happening with the camera. And then finally, I'll have some sort of creative direction. And that way, within those columns, I have sort of my secondary director on set that can guide me when things get difficult. Because when you hop on set, people are gonna be asking you a million things. You're gonna feel a little bit scattered, and as much as you maybe think that you have the film figured out in your head, you're gonna start slipping, and having a detailed structure when you hop on set is going to give you that confidence you need in order to lead the film. I'm wondering if Clementine is just projected on walls, and then we don't even have a full display. It's just the effect shot projected on walls.
VFX shot, VFX shot.
VFX shot, VFX shot, VFX, VFX, VFX. We'll fix it in post, don't worry.
These are all words that become nightmares.
Something I want to leave you with is the fact that the director is someone who has their hand in every department when you're working on it. You're kind of doing a little bit of everything in order for the film to be fully executed. When we did Clementine, I was shooting scenes, but I was also doing some production design. I was helping with Jackie's hair. I worked a little bit on the script, and I also edited the movie. And having that sort of involvement on every aspect, while might seem a little bit overwhelming, It's also important to know how much you dedicate to those things. Now, if you are the person who is legitimately doing all of those things, then you're gonna have to give 100% effort in each category. What I would recommend if you're collaborating with multiple people is to put in 50% energy with each thing, maybe even a little bit less. What that allows is for your vision to still stay strong within, let's say, the wardrobe or the cinematography, but it also gives the collaborator that you're working with the baton to give their vision. Because at the end of the day, if you're hiring someone, working with someone, you want to allow them to give their effort into the project. And I know when working on projects like what we did with Clementine, having that contribution space gives the film so much more rather than being like that director who wants to like do everything and own the whole film. Okay, the last thing I want to leave you with is on-set lingo, because people are going to be saying a bunch of things and not knowing the actual terminology of things can kind of put you in a weird space. Here's how it at least worked with Clementine. It's basically 3 people announcing things. You're going to have camera, rolling, sound, speeding. Then after that, you're going to get 2 other announcements. Focus puller saying sharps and camera saying frame. Those ones are sometimes interchangeable, and sometimes even with this project, I wasn't hearing that, but I like having those things announced. So what do they mean? Camera rolling just means that the camera's rolling, so everyone knows that we're filming. Sound speeding means the sound guy is recording. You wanna make sure everyone's recording. The last thing you wanna do is go through a scene and no one was recording, or even worse, camera was recording but sound was not speeding. And finally, frame and sharps. Frame basically means that the cinematographer is ready to roll and that he's ready whether or not there's a camera move or not. It just makes sure that everyone is ready to roll. Sharps just means that the focus puller has sharp image, and the reason why a focus puller might not have their focus before the shot begins is because maybe they had to change their focus to the slate and then go back to the actor, maybe the actor moved. So making sure everyone's ready to roll as you're rolling is the best tip I can provide, and that sort of call out is the sort of industry standard of how it works. Camera rolls, sound, speed, frame, sharps, action. Those 5 things. And that's it, folks. Thank you so much for listening and watching the behind the scenes of how we did Clementine, as well as learning how to master your directing. Hopefully this helps you guys out in future projects. If you have any questions or think that I maybe missed something, let me know in the comment section below. And I want to dive more into the directing process of making a film. So absolutely love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in another video.